Hi everyone, Dajia I wanted to put some of my thoughts to video on Double 10 Day this year. Double 10 Day commemorates the beginning of the Xinhai Revolution, which overthrew the Qing dynasty and established the Republic of China. And since the 1940s, the holiday has been celebrated in Taiwan. I like this year's Double 10 Day logo, and I like that President Lai Ching-te is acknowledging that Taiwan is part of the Republic of China. I'm one of the few English-speaking voices online who unapologetically supports the Republic of China and sees it as a good thing that should be preserved. Most expats in Taiwan either view the Republic of China with indifference or they see it as an unfortunate relic of the past that was forced on the people of Taiwan and should eventually be gotten rid of. Naturally, people have asked me why I'm pro-ROC and not just pro-Taiwan, so let me explain. I'm a student of history. And one thing that knowing history does is it gives you perspective. The event celebrated every October 10th was the beginning of the first democratic revolution in Asia. Most countries in 1911, in Asia or anywhere else, were authoritarian regimes. Many of us who are from English-speaking countries take liberty for granted. But all those freedoms we enjoy today are a result of centuries of struggle against tyrants. Most people assume that China was always an authoritarian, autocratic state, and that it always will be. But the Republic of China shows us that Chinese democracy is possible. The ROC Constitution was written in 1946 in mainland China by Chinese people who called themselves Chinese. Taiwan owes its democracy to Chinese people. This whole idea of Taiwan has nothing to do with China, or that China has only brought bad things to Taiwan, is not based on historical reality. Taiwan's democracy can be traced back to Chinese revolutionaries who fought against the Qing dynasty, like Sun Yat-sen. The Republic of China flag is a symbol of hope for millions of people in mainland China, Hong Kong, and elsewhere, and for good reason. The Republic of China seems to be held to an entirely different standard than other countries. The White Terror and other bad things done by the ROC government are said to make the country evil. Now, my country, America, also did some very bad things. Most reasonable people recognize that the bad things in American history, like slavery, were things that went against the founding principles of a free country. I would say the same about the bad things from the Republic of China's history. No country is perfect. Yet people act as if the bad things done by the Republic of China somehow make it illegitimate. This is the attitude that the politically active expats in Taiwan have, and I don't get it. Another thing I don't get is that a lot of people who have lived in mainland China for years before going to Taiwan, just like me, have this view of China that it's a fundamentally evil entity. Some people even have a bizarre idea that the nationalists or the KMT invented the idea of the Chinese nation and that Sun Yat-sen was a Han supremacist fascist. But what about ROC authoritarianism? It was a one-party state, after all. It is true that the Republic of China was an authoritarian country until the 1980s. Remember what I said about how studying history gives you perspective. The Republic of China fought against the Qing dynasty, warlords, the Empire of Japan, and the Chinese Communist Party, and they were fighting on the side of freedom in all of those conflicts. When the Republic of China came to Taiwan, they weren't taking the island from a free and independent democratic country. They were taking it from the Empire of Japan. Imperial Japan was extremely cruel, and while Taiwan was treated better than Japan's other colonies, Japan still killed a lot of people in Taiwan. They even committed genocide against the Taiwanese indigenous people. And the people of Taiwan welcomed the Republic of China in 1945. Don't take my word for it, the 228 Memorial says the same thing. It would have been nice if China had become a free country with a representative government in 1912. But people in China at the time were not used to democracy. They were used to autocratic government. They needed to be prepared for constitutional government. The nationalist government didn't even control the whole country, and for most of their time on the mainland, they were in a state of civil war or being invaded by a foreign power. After all of China was unified, then the ROC was going to become a democratic country. In fact, even before the Chinese Civil War ended, the country adopted a new constitution in 1947 and held elections. Sadly, because the nationalists were losing the Civil War, martial law was declared in 1948. And in 1949, the government of the Republic of China retreated to Taiwan. They vowed to take back the mainland and then make China a democracy. Chiang Kai-shek said that he didn't want to die a dictator, although he did end up dying as a dictator. Chiang Ching-kuo, Chiang Kai-shek's son, realized that by the 1980s it was impossible to take back the mainland, so he lifted martial law and started to transition the country to democracy. A lot of people say that the democratization of Taiwan was only because of Western pressure, but I disagree. It was built into the national ideology. If the Republic of China had never come to Taiwan, there is no reason to think that Taiwan necessarily would have become a democracy. After all, none of the countries in the region were democracies in 1945. I think that 1911 should be remembered along with the year 1215. 1215 was the signing of the Magna Carta in England. Like the 1911 Xinhai Revolution, it eventually gave freedom to millions of people, even if the journey to freedom was a long and bumpy road. So those are some thoughts on Double 10 Day. I want to expand on all the points I made in future videos. 双十节快乐!